Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat malam teman-teman semua. Semoga Anda semua dalam keadaan sehat walafiat. Seperti biasanya, kami pada malam hari ini kembali hadir dalam sebuah program bertajuk WartaJazz Talk, edisi 35 yang akan menghadirkan seorang trumpeter dari Montreal, Kanada. Saya Agus Setiawan Basuni, live dari WartaJazz House Gallery di kawasan Cimanggis. Dan tentu saja, seperti biasanya, saya akan ditemani oleh rekan saya dari kota Gudeg, Yogyakarta. Assalamualaikum Mas Aji Wartono.
Waalaikumsalam Mas Agus, dan senang sekali kita di hari kedua ya bulan Ramadan ini kita masih diberi kesehatan dan tentunya masih di WartaJazz Talk di malam hari ini dengan tamu spesial gitu Mas Agus.
Betul. Dan seperti diinformasikan kepada teman-teman semua, tamu spesial saya segera saja saya perkenalkan. Oh, tapi sebelumnya mungkin yang baru join, selamat bergabung dengan WartaJazz Talk. So for those of you who just turn on your connection, so this is a WartaJazz Talk, edition number 35, and tonight we will gonna invite somebody for us special. Yeah, we consider it special, coming from the northern part of the world, because we are in the southern east of the world, in the corner of the world. Now I would like to introduce you my dear friend, Jacques Kuba Seguin. Assalamualaikum, Jacques. How are you, man?
Malaikum salam, how are you? It's very great to be here with you guys. I'm very honored, and thank you for taking time in the Ramadan and to be with me. I'm really touched.
So it must be morning your time, right? Right now?
Yes, it's morning actually. In Montreal now it's 9:30, and but the snow is gone, so that's
okay.
so it's a good thing.
Yeah, because in Yogyakarta, where my colleague Aji live in Yogyakarta, we call there every day is Sunday. Because it's like literally always having the sun every day, and it's such a perfect place to live. Not just because it is a hometown for Aji, but also that's the city where I was meeting my my girlfriend, who happened to be my wife. It's called Yogyakarta, where I think there are more than 100 universities in this beautiful city. Yeah.
Wow.
And also at the same time, it's surrounded by nice atmosphere, rice field, volcano. One of the most active volcano on earth is also located in Yogyakarta. So I invite you to coming over to our hometown in
I would love to. I would love to. Honestly, what I can describe about Canada is there's a lot of snow, and there's a lot of snow, and there's a lot of
so, I do hope that our conversation will gonna warm up that little bit for those who are having kind of mild temperature.
Yeah.
So let's talk about you yourself. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit, how did you start your career as musicians? Because I do believe that judging from your name, you have some Polish background, and then maybe along the way you could also explain how did you end up now living in Montreal, Canada.
I am born and raised in Montreal, and I am from Polish origins. Montreal is a very interesting city because I mean everybody in in Montreal is from somewhere else, right? The First Nations are actually the real ones who are from Canada, I would say. And so it's interesting how all those different cultures are crossing and meeting on an everyday basis. As a growing musician, I was always playing with different ensembles and bands from Cuba, from Africa, from Eastern European music too, and classical music, jazz, and all that. And that was like my everyday life as a young, growing musician. It was very inspiring to meet all those different cultures, and I think it affected me a lot in my music, just being able to always adapt. And also, I think one of the great aspects of the city where I am from is that because everybody is from different places, everybody is discovering all the time on the different cultures. It's normal to cook, meals of different parts of the world, and it's very common. Canadian meals, it's hard to say what's a Canadian meal for me, anyways. It's like for me, my table is always with different things, and I'm very proud of that. And I think it's for me, it's a big thing for inspiration. So I would say that I'm born and raised in Canada, but I went back and forth between Canada and Poland because my mom is from Poland and my dad is from Quebec. So so I've been going back and forth between the two countries. I studied in Montreal and at McGill University, and after that I started touring. So I toured a bit everywhere in the world. I worked with different pop artists, and ended up working with the Cirque du Soleil, who is the big production company here in Montreal. And I actually have some friends that went and worked in Jakarta, I think so, and they worked in the hotels, playing music. So Cirque was like a big school for me because you play every day with people from all around the world. It's a big production, and you have to find ways to connect with the public. And we were playing an arena show, so it was from 7 to 12,000 people a night. It was the biggest thing I did, and we traveled all Canada, all United States, and a big part of Europe. And it was very, very, very much enlightening to see all those places, United States, how it's, the big centers, the smaller places, and Europe also too. So I've been a traveler all my life. Most of my active life been through travels, and it has influenced me a lot in my music, for sure. And I think every day, people are traveling from one place to the next, going to work, going to doing this, doing that, and traveling, I guess, is part of modern life. Today, with pandemic, everything has slowed down, has stopped moving as fast as before. Will we go back to the very quick pace that we were before? I wonder. I hope that we had a bit of reflection on this issue and slow down, be maybe a bit more, connect more with the family. I guess values that are important for me, and being with my kids and like that. So that's another inspiration in my life. So I guess that's my background. I've been touring now for 10 years in Canada and Europe, mostly doing only jazz, and producing my different records, doing cooperation. I have my record company, Sound Records, and also doing hosting a festival in Poland called Jazz Crossings in the city of Zielona Góra, where we mix classical music and jazz. That's one of my big things also, and been also a radio host at CBC Radio Canada talking about music. So that's a bit my life in a nutshell.
All right. Okay, now I wanted to jump very quick to this one, that something that you've been achieving last year. You won the Grammy Award, which is for Canada is the Juno Awards. So congratulations for
Thank you.
that, and also you won the provincial award, the Felix one. So it is I would say something that what you call it, like achievement that you've been that you have for the migration album. So yeah, so maybe we could start talk about what is the process behind, and then perhaps maybe the reason why jury is selecting your album to be the winner. Yeah, maybe talk a little bit also about the Felix and the Juno, because maybe some of our audience may do not know about this.
I guess, yeah, Felix, I'll talk about the creation process. As I talked about immigration in my in the previously, what I did, the creative process of, actually it's this record, if you want to see to the camera, voila. So this record was I went around Quebec, and so I'm in the province of Quebec. Quebec is I'm closer to the Atlantic. The other side is Pacific, so it's a huge continent, Canada. And I went around the province and asked a bunch of people from different origins. So I asked somebody from a Jewish person from living from United States, that decided to live in Canada. Why did you decide to come and live in Montreal? And also a person from Haiti, Stanley Péan, who's a radio host too. Same question I did ask to a spiritual leader at the mosque in Quebec City. And bunch of people like that from different cultural background. And I asked everybody the same question: where are you from? Why did you decide to come to Canada? And what happened? How come you decided to stay in Canada, Quebec, and to build your life, and call this home? And everybody answered about the same thing. They said, they settled down because of feeling of security, love. They met somebody, had children, and all that. And it was very much inspiring to see that. I mean, not looking at the color of skin, the religion, or all those different aspects. I mean, everybody is striving for the same thing, and it's generally love, So I decided to write songs about all those different meanings and those different meetings. Sorry, and so it made this record, and I think Canada has some. For Canada, it's very important to integrate the different cultures, into that everybody feels welcome somehow. So I guess probably this had to do in the balance of maybe the choice for selecting me as the winner of this prize. For sure, the music was played into the balance. But I'm just happy that people kind of felt the calling of this music because this is just about love, and for me, it's the most important thing, that none looking at the you know the spirituality or the color of skin and all that, and you look at what's going on in the United States with the Floyd issue, and we had a issue in Quebec with the First Nation, Mississaugawan, that anyway, terrible story that happened. And you know, we have to focus on good things. We have to focus on love, on relationships, and basic things. And this record is about that. And I think people felt compelled to this calling. And well, I'm happy that people seem to like it.
All right. Perhaps before we play a short version of this migration, maybe Aji would like to ask a question.
Okay, Jacques. You explain about a little bit about your life, but maybe you can explain focus about your musical journey. Why you chosen the jazz?
Oh yeah. But jazz for me was always something that I'm very attracted to this music, because this music is about spontaneity and creation in the moment, and I really like that aspect in the music. And I try to even in my creation, I always try to leave a lot of space for the musicians to have their own creative space. And what I like a lot about this music is the fact that every performance is different. We can play twice the same song, it will be completely different. And even more fun when we go on tour and we play this music in different places. Every time, every performance, every day, it's different. So for me, I guess at the beginning, I was very much inspired by this, you know. And also what I like a lot about this music is the fact that it's crossing of different cultures together. It's the mixture of European musical background met with African music and met together, and this creates this new music with rhythm and harmony. And I loved it, you know. And being in Montreal, meeting all the different cultures, it fits also with this music, you know. The also, again, meeting of different cultures and creates new music. So, and also what I like about this music is the mixture of genre, that you don't have to take. There is traditional jazz that I love a lot, I really appreciate, but also the mixture of other cultures, taking this culture of jazz and make it your own. I know I heard in Jakarta, Indonesia, you have your own way of playing jazz, and I think that's fantastic, you know, because everybody brings this thing, and it's not. Sometimes I love classical music, but sometimes I find it's very rigid, like the way it's performed, and I like that in jazz you have this opening that more you bring of yourself into the music, more the music is compelling. That's what I like about this music.
Yes, yeah. I think jazz is welcome to the other music, to the other not the music, but the art, dance, and the others. I think music is always welcome to the jazz.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a meeting point of cultures, and for me that's really important, you know. And at nowadays, you know, where we have this mondialization of, you know, products being sold one place to the next, and also like because I'm seeing our neighbors in the south, you know, where they have maybe a very defensive sometimes politics towards the rest of the world. I think it's good. We shouldn't, philosophy shouldn't go that way. I think it's all about more we open ourselves to different cultures, stronger we get, better humanity we have. That's I'm 100% convinced of that.
Okay. Let's play the music, Mas Agus.
Sure.
Okay. So kita akan dengerin dan nanti mungkin kita akan bahas sedikit melanjutkan pertanyaan di awal tadi ya. Ini adalah karya yang tadi disebut yang memenangkan Juno Award, albumnya dari Jacques ini, Migration. Teman-teman silahkan menikmatinya. Oke, maaf tadi sempat terputar ulang tidak sengaja ya. Dapat bonus buat diputar kembali. Oke, teman-teman yang mungkin join dari dari Instagram ataupun juga dari YouTube. Silahkan kalau Anda ingin bertanya dengan narasumber kita pada malam hari ini. So for those of you who accessing or watching this program through Instagram or the YouTube, please feel free to ask any question or give a comments into the comments box within your favorite social media. You could also join with us if you like, and the link is actually available through the website of WartaJazz.com. Okay, now back to the Jacques again. So, how long that you are preparing for this album, and is there anything in particular that you really like in terms of songs within this album?
I guess many things. What we just heard was the symphonic version of what I did. So it was played 2 years ago, so before the pandemic. And it was a big experience for me to write for symphonic orchestra, and I invite the people to log on to my YouTube. They can, because after this last year I wrote a symphony. So for whole symphonic orchestra, I wrote 30 minutes of music with a meeting of classical music and jazz once again. And on the topic of, sorry, I'm taking you somewhere else now, but the meeting of the people. So is the story of the creation of Canada. And so if you're curious, I invite you to check that out. So, but what we just heard was him. And this song was it's about hymn is about it's the first song of the record, and it's about for me, hymn is a song that it's kind of solemn song that you sing. It could be sung in church, but for me, it's a moment of peace, and that's why I wanted to start the record with this, because it has a very quiet aspect to it. So we heard the solo section of this, but the beginning of it, I invite the people to check it out and discover the song, because it has a nice quiet aspect, and it starts trumpet and saxophone, and it builds with the whole ensemble. And so it has something traditional. It was influenced a bit by the music of Thelonious Monk, this record, where he plays Well You Need It, where he sits in the little cartwheel in the so the song Abide With Me. So and I was influenced by this and kind of tried to change it. And this whole record actually was about, we rediscovered the music that I studied like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and resubmerged myself into the more traditional jazz. And it was because some of my other records are a bit more contemporary, but this one has something very traditional. And I wanted to kind of pay tribute to this tradition in music. And for me, this record is a bit about that. So him, for sure, presents one of those aspects.
Okay. And the there are one song that the ones we've been discussed before this talk show, that you had a chance to talk with the imam of the
Yes.
of the Muslim clerk. So maybe you could also tell us a little bit about that as well.
Well, in Quebec City, the city that is about 2 hours from Montreal, unfortunately, there was a terrible accident that happened there, and some completely delusional person went into the mosque and did something terrible. And for whole Quebec, the whole Canada was people felt very disgusted by this whole whole thing, and most of all, the whole Muslim community. I had the chance of having a girlfriend for 8 years in my life who was Muslim, and I was curious to know where we stood with this whole aspect, how he felt, you know. And this meeting, he said, well, for him, you know, he decided to come to Quebec. People appreciate him. He felt secure there with his family, and this aspect, this event, you know, kind of turned things a bit upside down for him. But by chance, the fact that I wrote this song and my process helped him to get a sense of peace with what happened, you know. And during the concert, what I did, I would present this song, and I would have a little part of the speech, the discussion that we had together. And when he came to the concert, he was like so blown away, you know, by this artistic process and all that, and it gave him a big feeling of peace. And I was really humbled that this kind of art can heal people and can bring some form of recomfort to all this. And so yeah, this meeting was something very I feel very lucky that he took the time, you know, to talk to me and to talk about his experience and his life, because he could have decided, no, I don't want to talk about it, and that's it, you know. But again, he was very much open, and I felt very lucky. So the song Mosaic is a kind of tribute you'll hear in this song. I think that's what the music that you'll play, right? After this, you'll see, you'll have a little aspect, you know, of I try to pay a little tribute to Arabic culture, and so you'll hear a use of scales and all that. But I do it in a very naive way, in my way. I don't pretend in having the you know, the perfect, but you know, I think that's the thing, you know. If you try, you know, you try to discover things, try to meet people, you expose yourself to the cultures, well, that's when, you know, magical things happen. You know, I try to, as much as I can, immerse myself into different things and into different cultures. I like to go the other day I found a Turkish shop that like 2 blocks away from my house. Try different. I saw a drink there, and just a sauce, different things, and I just bought a bunch of things that I didn't know, you know. And I went back home and explored, you know, all this because I didn't know about it, and then looked on the internet how to use it in my cooking and all that, and I felt very much elevated. And in the shop, I asked the gentleman, "Can you take for meats? We added to this and that." So as you see, I'm very I love cooking. So for me, everything starts at the table. So yeah, and so trying those different things brought me like. And now I'm using these aspects, you know, in my, not every day, but it's something that I have in the back of my mind. And it's not only, I know where Turkey is on the map, and I can see the different influences with the surrounding regions and all that, other countries, how it influenced their culture. So, and I read also about the history of Turkey. So I think it's the best way to always expose yourself to different, instead of being in a position where you don't understand, in a position of fear and all that. It's just like, that's not how you grow. And I try with my kids as much as possible to educate them so that they, you know, they are open to different cultures. So yeah, so that's it.
All right. Perhaps before we continue, can I just play the song that we mentioned? So this song is basically dedicated for all of our Muslim friends who are now practicing fasting, puasa. That's what we call it in bahasa, in Malay language. So buat teman-teman yang menjalankan ibadah puasa, selamat berpuasa, dan lagu ini mosaik persembahan dari kami untuk Anda semua, dan silahkan menikmati. Enjoy. Okay, it is very interesting to hear this composition, and also knowing the reason behind the process, you know, and what has been happening over there. And I do believe you also composed another song, but not from this particular album, right? You told me one time that you had this experience in New York after the 9/11. Perhaps you can also tease that a little bit and share that story with us.
Yeah, the story was, en fait, I was working at the time with Cirque du Soleil, and it was a bit after 9/11, and I was sitting in a cab. Cirque was in New York City, and we were playing at the Madison Square Garden, and I remember going to the concert, I think if it was that, and I could see that the gentleman driving the taxi was looked like Muslim. So I said, "Salam alaikum," and أنا شوي تحكي بالعربي. So I sped and talked a bit in Arabic and tried to just communicate with him. And I could feel that he was kind of afraid, you know, of sharing, responding to my hellos. And for me, it was, I felt suddenly very much, how to say, ashamed, you know, that he feels that way, you know, and that his experience was that he didn't want to, you know, talk about, you know, his culture and all that. And for me, it was just something so preposterous, you know, that somebody that has a normal life, you know, that has no pretension of, you know, doing his job as a cab driver can't, because now suddenly this event happened, you know, in mysterious, and all was around it. I feel up to today, I still don't understand exactly all what happened and all that. And some people believe in conspiracy around this whole issue. And anyways, and now not being able to communicate with somebody like clearly, you know, and I felt kind of disgusted about that. And I wrote this song called Threat, as a, but in a very feeling compassion, you know, for this gentleman, that, you know, how come, you know, suddenly this thing happens and suddenly all the Muslim people are bad, you know. For me, it didn't make sense. It was so like narrow-minded to put everybody in a box or related to a religion. For me, it's just, you know, everybody is different, you know, and it's, you can't attribute this to one. It's just such, anyway, I don't understand. It's something I just completely preposterous. So so I wrote this song about it in respect, you know, to this gentleman. And I think I never saw him again, you know. That's what's the most incredible. I don't know his name, I don't know it, but I feel and when this whole event happened, you know, with the mosque in Quebec, where I mean nothing happens, you know. It's just it's a quiet country, and then this thing, I felt so ashamed, you know. It's just like, how can somebody like do some things? For me, it's just so. Even the worst, I think we shouldn't mediatize this stuff. You know, it shouldn't be on the internet. They shouldn't talk about that, because it inspires other narrow people to do something in the it's just the best thing that can happen to this thing is just not talk about it, you know. Just the guy goes through justice and that's it, you know, and go move to the other subject, because it's, but unfortunately, I think media kind of bad news travel faster than good news, you know. So they kind of need this kind of stuff. But for me, it's just, I toss that out. And for me, I don't use, I mean, my culture, I mean, being Polish, you know, what happened during the Second World War with Jewish people, you know. I mean, even though I go every year to Poland, I never went to Auschwitz and all those concentration camps, because for me, it's something that, yes, it happened in my other country, you know, because I feel I have two countries, and it happened, but it's something I don't want to look at this thing. I read about it, and my grandparents told me a lot about those stories. I mean, my grandfather fought in the Warsaw Uprising, and I mean, we were there and we fought, you know, this thing, but. My grandfather always says, you know, when I remember eating some little strawberries, you know, and he says, how good are those strawberries, you know? I said, well, they're pretty good, you know. He says, of course they're good because they are ours, you know, because he's so proud of, you know, they are grown in the land of Poland, and they are Polish strawberries. And so for me, it's like you have to look at the pride and good aspects of cultures. You have to learn from bad things, you know, and but not cultivate the bad element and the harmful things of. We should just condemn like bad action, but not focus. And because I think sometimes media just use this stuff and just create more fuss about it's like, wow, I can get attention from the people if I do something very harmful, which is like completely such just ridiculous, you know. And instead of cultivate good things, good aspects, you know, and I think good values always travel longer than bad values. So yeah, so that's for me, that's how I see that. Sorry, I'm very kind of categoric about that, but for me, I believe in peace and good things. Yeah.
Okay, I agree with you. And because the social media is have two sides, yeah, bad side and good side, yeah. And people can show the bad side or the good side about the social media, and it's influence the political opinion to the people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Back to the music. Yeah. Because political is becomes about political.
Yeah.
Okay. And back to the music. I opened your Bandcamp and talk about the newest album, yeah, the Outlaw. And is the concept your music in the migration album is continue to your newest album?
I would say that the Odd Lot is Odd Lot was actually a mixture between I wanted to do with rock music, kind of more electrical jazz. So Miles in the 1960s.
Yes.
Sorry, 19 Bitches
Brew era.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so the mixture of those, so it's later. So I wanted to join that with jazz, you know. So you see there's a mixture. And originally I wanted to have the original kind of Miles quintet, so trumpet, 2 saxophones,
yep,
and a rhythm section. So Odd Lot is a kind of more uplifting, I would say, group, you know, more muscular solos and less subtle, you know, than my other projects. And I did a few records, actually. The Odd Lot at the beginning was mixture of Eastern European music with rock and jazz, you know, jazz rock kind of. And I was very much influenced at the time I was in university. I remember this group that kind of mixed, you know, this aspect. You know, I was kind of turned the Eastern European music into jazz, and I was very much influenced by that. I thought it was great, and it was finding some elements inside of me, you know. So yeah, so I started with this project, with this idea, and then it merged into many other things, you know, during the. So, but that was at the beginning. It was mixture between Eastern European rock and jazz together. So it created, and odlot in Polish means take off. It when the plane takes off, we say odlot. So, and also if something is if you say like, oh, I went to this concert and it was great and I had a great, it was a total odd lot. So it was super a takeoff. So that was the idea behind the project.
Yeah, it's good title to the explain about the start a new concept. Yeah,
and also if you translate it to English, because in Polish you write ODLOT, but then here it's in two words, so ODDLOT, and like a weird group again. For me, it was the image of people from different, because I remember on this record, I mean, there's people from like 5 different origins on this thing, you know. So it was a weird group, you know. It was not homogeneous, but it was like and I felt it was weird in a very nice way, you know, that people all bring with their cultural background, bring to this music. So again, you can see that for me, origins and cultural backgrounds and mixture of different ethnical groups for me is very important.
Okay, Mas Agus, let's play the music.
Yeah, we would like to play the this particular track, which really interests me. So perhaps you could explain that later. Everyone, I would like to play this from the Outlot, and this is Tsunami. Sangat menarik sekali untuk menikmati karya yang satu ini ya, karena ini kalau kita kaitkan dengan Indonesia, ya sepertinya sangat relevan sekali. So I'm just saying that it is very interesting to hear this particular song because this is something that, you know, that live in this ring of fire, always facing what's so-called tsunami. And of course, everybody may still remember that the biggest that we just have like within the last 15 years is the one hit in Aceh, which is you know the impact is even up to the Madagascar, you know, Thailand, Malaysia, and even so far away. So so tell me, where did you draw this inspiration, and what is exactly that you try to describe in this particular song?
Actually, it was influenced by the tsunami in 2004. So it's exactly this. And I remember seeing this, because I remember at this time it's funny because you bring some older, you know, stuff, not stuff, you have to reach in my memory, you know. And this song was, because I always have a lot of respect for nature for me, and it's something that's for me we are very small in the relationship to nature. Nature will always prevail, you know, on this. I remember seeing even a report that some scientific team would say that if humanity would vanish from one day to the next from planet Earth, you know, just the human, you know, no more humans, how much time would it take that nature would take over again everything? And it's not that long. I mean, in the story of humanity, that, you know, nature like takes over everything, you know. So when I remember, I was so, I mean, in Canada, we don't have, we're close to the ocean, but I'm too far from it, you know, to have this relationship with such amount of water, you know. That's one thing. And also, I remember seeing this on TV and just being blown away by this, imagining this wave, you know, coming at you, you know, and being amazed by the power and the fear, you know, of what you had to live through when you saw this amount of water coming from one day to the next and taking everything away. I remember seeing the reports on the daily news about that. And my song is about like the respect for nature. That's the inspiration for me. And I'm looking at the pandemic right now, where, you know, they're saying that, you know, we passed about the pollution and all that, and how we overconsume everything. And I mean, of course, but it seems like in the last few years, I mean, the cataclysm has been building a bit more. And as I was saying to my wife yesterday, I felt like I have the biggest pride that, you know, we had all the food in the fridge, and again, I'm talking about food. It's I can't help it. But, and I used everything that was in the fridge. I didn't throw away anything. I found a way to do, I had parts of me that I made soup with, and you know, and not throw away and buy all this massive consummation, you know. So I guess this song is about the thinking about Mother Nature, and respecting, you know, that Mother Nature has some strong, can show her might, you know, by moments in that way. And we have to be careful in a certain way, and think about the next generation, how we will find this balance, you know, on this planet. And also thinking all those countries around Indian Ocean, you know, how we're affected, and the terrible aspect, that aspect. You see, I have maybe a political, always think a social view about things. It's something that I can help. And yeah, and I trying to actually, the first part is like the wave coming in, you know, this, and then when the trumpet solo is like this, all this, when as soon as the wave went, it's like this kind of this water that is left there. That's what I wanted to picture, you know. So I mean, musically, but yeah, deep down, that's what I wanted to show with this song. I hope I did justice.
Okay. You were having a lot of, or I mean, taking a lot of from the what we call it, maybe the daily activities, that everything that if you turn on your TVs or maybe reading on a newspaper or something like that, it is something that everyone knows, but at the same time, there are tendency that people like kind of ignore that in some way, and you drew that kind of inspiration for your work, and just checking out all of songs that has been basically uploaded to digital platform, for example. It's a kind of hard for me to pick which one that I would like to play, for example, because everything is so interesting, and yet at the same time is so inspiring. So perhaps you could
Thank
tell
you.
us what is your process in your creative way when you make your works. You know, are you a typical, like, you went to somewhere and then start to draw anything? What is your like a procedure, if
Yeah,
you could
my
call it?
creative process.
Yeah.
Depends. Sometimes I'll write I'll sit at the piano and start to write, you know, create, you know, just like find a little melody that I think sounds good. Some two notes, sometimes it's just a chord, you know, two chord related. But I have to say that often music in me triggers a kind of cinema in my head, you know. It makes me think of this. And I'll leave it alone for a while. And after that, I'll get back to it, you know, and maybe the next day I'll write the whole song. Or sometime the first day, like everything comes out. And I try to but most of the time what I do is I think about something or a situation or something that when I think of, for instance, if you look at tsunami, you know, I'm just like pa pa puri pa da pura. For me, it's like pop it's like I see the wave in front of me, you know, coming, you know. So that's, and it's in this image I create like music that represent that in my way, you know. And often I'll choose topics that are important for me, that make sense. I somehow socially engaged, for sure, because I have this this side of me that I think artists should be active in the I mean, we should criticize, we have to criticize society in a certain way, and we have this liberty of doing it, and I'm taking it. So and I take position on issues that I think are important, and but never in an offensive way. I don't try to like take my opinion, and I see like certain artists that have a very drastic way of expressing their thing, and I don't think you never succeed to do anything if you shout at somebody, you know. Never, nothing comes out of this thing. So I try always, I have this side that I'm looking always to I focus on a beautiful aspect of thing and a positive side of creation. So yeah, so that's, I guess, I don't know if it makes sense, but that's how I go about it.
I think the music must the voices about something.
Yeah, but my goal is to talk to express something and touch people. You know, some people, some artists have an aspect where they're satisfying. I'm going there. So if you're with me, it's fine. If you're not, whatever, you know. I have, I guess, the other way around. I like to actually talk with somebody. I want to make sure that this person actually understand what I'm talking about. And for me, it's important. But I'm not trying out at the same time to impose my opinion. You know, it's one thing about saying something, but if it's not, if you don't agree with me, it's fine. You know, if you disagree, actually, I'm very curious if you disagree. You know, because I love a good discussion. You know, say, well, this, and I hope that I will grow actually from this. So that's one thing also about, for me, is very important. I love discussing and talking about people and exchanging ideas, you know. And as I remember, I had some few discussions with people's telling me, dude, you're completely out of it. I don't agree with you. And after the discussion, I said, I understand what you're saying. I think I grew from discussion. It was a very good discussion. I feel a better human being. So I always have this hope, you know, of growing with people and so music, I think, works really in that way. So and actually in my music, I also I always leave a big space for others, the musicians that I'm playing with. So like Duke Ellington would write for people in his band. You know, he would, when he thinks like Cootie Williams with his mute, he had like some very precise moments where, and it sounds so great. Well, it sounds so great because Ellington was thinking, you know, how can I make this person sound good? And he will write in a certain manner. I certainly do that. Try to really write music and create a nice moment where a beautiful discussion will take place musically. For me, it's very important that you see this aspect. And I try also to surround myself with musicians that have strength in very specific things. Actually, in my music, I think that the music chooses the musician, not the other way around. So the music has a certain very specific way of going about it. I'm kind of canalizing it, but music decides wherever the creation is going, and it's great, you know. And then I'm just following, you know, and I'm following this way, and then it creates, the music has this path. And sometimes I try to force things and try to impose my and it's, and then you know, when it's not the sometimes it shouldn't be this guy playing this thing, it should be the other guy, you know. And as soon as I do it, well, yeah, it will. Nice, David.
Yeah, very interesting. Can be the long discussion about it.
Yeah. Well, you know.
We just have a little time before the finish. But okay, back to the music. I know. I want to know about your opinion about the jazz right now, because jazz always influence about the other music. You know, Beaches Brew also influenced by the rock music, psychedelic music, also jazz. When the Coltrane start the avant-garde music, blend the jazz music. And what what opinion about the jazz music right now? And what the future of jazz?
Interesting
Your
question.
opinion.
I think jazz is going. It's very interesting because now jazz has like a very, there's a very institutionalized part of jazz, you
Yeah.
know, because schools are teaching it and all that. And every year you have so many young, apt musicians that come out of those schools, you know, that know how to play and all that. But always for me, the question is, do they have something to say? And something, for me, it's based in surrounding yourself of what you want to say. You know, for me, I have a social part, you know, in my music that is strong. You know, everybody has a different path, you know. But I think what I like about the jazz created in Poland is that the I feel in this country jazz, because in the history of jazz in Poland, Poland was communist, as you know,
Yeah.
like before, but the jazz always had a very political side to it, that it was counter-revolutionary. So they were against the communism, you know, and it was because I mean, if you look at the idea of it's one individual instead of communism. So one individual creating with his ideas, one very individualistic way of approaching the music. Every musician is very different. So the ideology is very strong. And because of that, up to today in Poland, the scene is very, there's a very strong club scene in Poland, that people go, and the large public go just to enjoy, you know, in the club, the music. With the pandemic, it's different, but when it will get back, I'm sure it will get back. And there is this big tradition. In America, I mean, in Montreal, we have 4 universities. So, and for all of them have music departments. And because of that, you have a lot of students, you know, and they play in the clubs also a bit and that. But for me, it has a more kind of rigid kind of way of approaching it. And I feel more inclined into the European side of it, that this club, that is, it's a culture, it's a social thing. And but still in Montreal, that's something that I always talk about, is what I like. And in a jazz club, you have many generation. You can have people from like they can in Canada, you need to be 18 years old to go in the club, right? Because they sell alcohol, and so you need to be 18 to enter. So you can have 18 all the way up to 80 years old, you know, people in the same club enjoying having a good time. Where in a dance club or other clubs, it's more, you know, it's more people because they're going for very specific reasons. But jazz club has this very wide audience. And I find always interesting that in a jazz club, you'll never see, anyways, I heard some story, maybe some evening that didn't go well, but like 95% of the time, or anyway, for me, it's practically 100%. There's never any stories, no? And it also often attracts people that are curious, interested, know about not only music, but many things in life and all that. So I think that's what a big thing that I like. It brings cultured people together, this music. I don't know why, you know, and many generations and people. There's a club in Montreal called Le Diaison, so sharp 11. And this club, you sit at the bar and you talk with people. It's like an open discussion with people of different age and all that, and people exchange and talk and all that. And I think it's so healthy that people can just meet in a place where this discussion can be open and with good taste and all that. So the future of this music, I hope it stays social. It stays social, and it brings the generation together, you know, that of different and openness, and always in mixture of style. I think more the jazz will be more all those the different influences from all around the world bring together, and all this, and they mix, and this it will be fantastic. It will be fantastic. I think that's the future. And yes, there is a trend, and there's a tradition in United States, you know, and it's at the beginning, it was, I mean, it's a Black culture, right? It's from the history of United States, but now I think jazz has grown outside of United States, you know. And it's not only jazz is a worldwide thing, you know. It was at the beginning, for sure, I agree, and they have this tradition, and it's important, everything that Wynton Marsalis I mean, his process, and I respect that a lot. But I think there's also a big place for this mixture. I mean, and when you think about the history, and they say that the jazz started in Congo Square, you know, in New Orleans. But again, it was people from different culture meeting and creating this new music. So and Wynton even was talking about the swing, how it's Irish, a mixture of Irish music and all that. So I think it's fantastic, you know. And now bring people, the world, the future of jazz will always be, you know, mixture of culture and humility, you know, being hey, I don't know this, I don't know that, show me, you know. And oh, wow, that's interesting, how do you do that, how? And that's, I think, the future of music. It will always be, it has to be in humility, you know, to celebrate like positive things.
Yeah. I know, because when I heard the jazz music, I always got the new experience. Even the same composition, the same music. Yes, always I always got the new experience.
Ah, that's good. That's good. Well, I'm happy that you feel that way, because it's that's the goal, you know. You got it.
Yeah. Okay, Mas Agus.
I think I would like to reach out to the people in Indonesia that pada saat kita seperti tadi sudah diterangkan oleh Jacques, butuh satu proses, dan kadang proses itu membutuhkan satu lorong waktu yang kita sebut sebagai tempat transit. Dan ya, sebentar lagi kita akan menikmati lagu transit, tapi teman-teman kita kelihatannya sudah berada di sekitar penghujung acara. Jadi nikmati dulu transit dari album Outload yang tadi dibilang sebagai take off. Oke, enjoy. super cool. That's what I could call this song in particular. And of course, for those who are watching our short promotion about this talk show, we take the portion of the song for the promotional material. So congratulations, Jacques, for this wonderful piece of music that you share with us. I think we are, as I said before, we are now reaching out to our time. But beforehand, perhaps Mas Aji still have some questions that you would like to ask.
No, it's enough.
Okay. All right. So before we say goodbye, I would like to say thank you, Jacques, joining with us and sharing some thoughts and ideas about your music. I will gonna ask you one last question, but beforehand, I would like to say thank you very much for those who are watching and listening to our conversation. Looks like everybody was very enjoying the music, so they didn't make any comments at all. Because of course, as I said before, there are a lot of interesting music even within this compilation. There are also another interesting song like Balkans, which I wish that I could play that as well, but yeah, maybe some other time. So before we say goodbye, we just like to inform again that please check out to our social media, in Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and also in YouTube channel, the WartaJazz channel in YouTube. Also check out the website, WartaJazz.com, for upcoming talks and other programs as well. We would like to inform all of you guys that looks like our Ramadan Jazz Festival will be back, even though it will be only hybrid for this year. And we're going to celebrate along with the International Jazz Day. So it will be 10th anniversary of Ramadan Jazz Festival being held during the holy month of Ramadan. So would like to ask the last question is when you had a chance to visit Southeast Asia, maybe, I don't know, when the near will be near. I mean, the near future will be near. Is any particular that you have in mind? If you had a chance to come to Indonesia, what kind of formation that you would like to bring? And last but not least, your final remarks for this conversation.
Well, if I have the chance, I had the chance to go to China and travel a bit everywhere in China. And for me, it was very, very, I think I'll proceed exactly the same way. I like when I travel, I don't like to be in the big hotel and big fancy. I like to be with the people and meet the people, and also I want to try as much different food as I can. So, I would like to try all your specialties. That for me, because I think it's the best way to travel. And I feel sharing, when you break bread, actually I make also my own bread. It's something that I like doing, but is a way to when you sit around the table, it's the best way of sharing, you know. And so for sure, if I have a chance, I would love to try the travel that way. Until then, I will try to look for different Indonesian, you know, shops around Montreal to see how much I can learn before coming. And yeah, so that, and the difference, I would say the formation, I would say smaller formation, maybe in quartet or something, for me that works, that has a nice possibility of discussion, musical discussion, because for me it's very important to have this kind of flexibility of discussion. I released recently on my YouTube channel a nice song, because I just had a daughter, Amelia, and it's called Song for Amelia. So if I would like to maybe bring something like that, something nice and peaceful. But I see that you like that. Maybe I should bring something more. We'll discuss about it. I don't know. We'll see what at this point what will be, and we'll see this will take place. But for now, I'm very, very humbled, and I feel very happy that you took the time and invite me to talk about my music. So thank you very much for having me and taking time between Ramadan. Hope you're not too hungry. I have some Muslim friends, I remember, and sometimes you get really hungry during the day, but I guess that's so. Thank you for taking this time with me.
Agus?
Yeah,
hello.
Looks like I was being kicked out. So it was freezing on my side. Well, the system telling me that you have to go, you know. But anyway, Jacques, again, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure to have a conversation with you, and I do hope everybody also enjoying the conversation as well as the music that you've been sharing with us tonight. Again,
great.
Yeah, happy and enjoy your life with your daughter.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, I will.
And looking forward to see you, perhaps maybe in one of our festival that we do have in Indonesia. Maybe WartaJazz, perhaps in Yogyakarta. Let's see.
Yeah.
Until then,
let's wait for the pandemic to go away, and yeah.
So until then, please be sure that to be implement the health protocol. Make sure that you always stay safe and healthy, and be optimistic.
I'm getting my shots. I'm getting my shot in 1 week.
Okay.
The vaccine. So.
Okay. Good luck. Then. Okay. So everybody, thank you very much for joining with us for the talk show tonight, the WartaJazz Talk edition number 35 with the Jacques Kuba Seguin from Montreal, Canada. I do hope everybody had a enjoyable time together with us. Me, Agus Setiawan Basuni, live from the WartaJazz House Gallery in Cimanggis, Indonesia, and my colleague.
And I'm Aji, and live from the Yogyakarta.
And together that we would like to say thank you very much for your attention. Terima kasih buat teman-teman yang sudah menyimak. Jangan lupa untuk selalu menerapkan protokol kesehatan dengan menjaga jarak, menggunakan masker, mencuci tangan, dan tentu saja memastikan bahwa Anda selalu menikmati musik-musik terbaik, terutama musik jazz. Sekali lagi terima kasih, sampai jumpa dan selamat malam. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.